Let me find the video.
Oh, dude, this is always funny, Daddy.
What? What is... what the fuck?
Okay, look at this thing. That's me when my mom beats me.
Alright, guys.
Alright, let's get this started for real. Real talk. Danny, you had to take your shirt off. Holy fuck.
Memes aside, guys. Today we're here to talk about God of War.
God of War 2018.
Those who played it in this room, we've all beaten it. And I got a lot of things to say.
Me too.
As you guys know, this segment of the show is spoiler heavy. So if you don't want to be spoiled by God of War, because there's some big spoilers in the game.
Oh yeah.
Play it. Quick spoiler free thing. I enjoyed the game. It's amazing. The mechanics are great. Just go play it, honestly. If you're a big God of War fan, like this is what you want for the series.
Yes. I agree. I love the direction they're taking God of War. If they continue it this way, yes.
Yeah, I really did enjoy the first God of War RPG. I liked it very much.
Yeah.
Open world RPG.
It's not a real open world game. But.
I mean, it wasn't entirely available to you at first, so it's not like true free roam open world. But in the sense, you can go to and fro, and there's no particular sense of direction.
Yeah, I mean, they do give you like side quests and challenges to do. There's a lot to do in this game.
The main quest isn't that long though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it really isn't.
I would say about 6 hours at most.
Yeah, if you were doing it on probably normal or easy.
But see, I don't know. I think when you play the story mode, you have to like do some side shit. At certain points for you to just progress.
It's really hard, even on normal, dude. I played it on normal.
I would say anything on normal or above will require you to at least do some sort of.
So
side quest.
I think I'm the only one here that played on hard, right? Or okay, Oscar, you played on hard.
My next run is going to be on hard.
Dude, trust me, hard. Like I've gotten used to it now, but early on in God of War hard, like goddamn, dude. Like,
do you remember that part right before you find the Reavers for the first time? Remember, Kratos makes Atreus stay back because he wants to fight the Reavers by himself.
Essentially the tutorial part.
Yeah. Well, it's just right before that. You were introduced. It wasn't your very first introduction, but you have to fight. What are those witches called?
The Revenants?
Yeah, the Revenant. You have to fight a Revenant and 2 of the heavy-duty, like...
that area.
Yeah, it was right before you had to lower the bridge, right before you meet the Reavers for the very first time.
Yeah.
I was stuck on that specific instant for like 30 minutes, trying to kill the Revenant first and then trying to kill the 2 heavy guys, all without having, like, that concept and control of, like, basically Dark Souls where you have to parry your shit and stuff. The thing about heavy joggers is you can't fucking parry them.
Yeah, their red attacks are unblockable.
Yeah. Even some yellow attacks are unblockable.
It depends what type of attack
Taco
it is.
Bell Wi-Fi?
Taco Bell Wi-Fi?
Was that the name?
Yeah, that's his name.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty good. Spoilers from this point forward while we get into it. Man, what a game this was.
I think this was a masterpiece to me. I think this game was truly...
For the next trilogy of God of War, I would say it did just as much progression as the very first God of War during the original trilogy did. This is something that I was talking to you about back on. We were talking about basically how, if you think about it, in the very first God of War, the only god that Kratos killed was Ares, which is the only one that he wanted to kill.
One of the main gods.
Right, the main of that pantheon, right, because that's what...
Well, because in this game, you fight Thor's sons, I don't think those count. I don't consider them like...
They're like
the gods
second-tier pantheons.
Yeah, they're B-tier. Like, you kill a lot of B-tier gods in the God of War series.
It's not like number 3 where you killed Poseidon literally within the first
like in the
20 minutes
of the game,
and then what happened? The sea drowned. Explain how that shit works to me.
The sea rose up.
Yeah.
He drowned everyone.
He drowned everyone else.
Because
I was thinking the sea, at a normal sea level, drowned itself. And then
because Poseidon is the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not that they didn't really have any allegories to Neptune at that time, but the main point is he killed the Papillons.
Neptune actually was a concept that they scrapped for God of War 2.
Yeah, that's
well, no, in actual, not that it matters, but in actual Greek mythology, Poseidon was a god. He was readily available as the god of the sea, right? But Neptune still existed. Neptune was a great god that had some control over the sea.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. No, Neptune's that's the Roman version, isn't it?
Yeah.
No,
it's kind of Poseidon are just
Roman,
the same name.
It's the same person, just different name.
It's kind of like that shit in Percy Jackson, where it's like, hey man, the Sea of Monsters, like, why can't I call the water over here? Because he's like, and he told him, there's parts of the sea, there's parts of the sea that don't belong to your father. And it's all like, oh shit, Neptune still's like, no bro, no nigga, this is me. You know what I mean?
You stole my book.
Yeah, I do. I gotta
The Percy Jackson series?
Yeah.
Bro, I love Percy Jackson, bro.
I have those series. But yeah, I mean, amount of like, the interesting thing for me for this game was the scarcity of like real boss fights.
Okay, yeah, okay. My only gripe with this game, only real gripe, everything else I would have to say about it is just nitpicking, but my only gripe is the lack of boss battles in this game.
Because I don't count the
trolls.
I don't count the trolls. The only ones I count is Boulder.
Yeah.
Thor's sons.
Magni
and Modi. And I would count the first troll boss fight. Like that's a tutorial boss fight.
I would count the one that gives you the blades back.
Oh, in Helheim?
Because that one was a little different.
He was a little. He disappeared.
You know. Well, he summoned grunts too.
And so. But I like to think as the troll bosses, like the equivalent to like fighting a Cyclops or something.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
You know?
Well, but that was the ogres though in the game. Those were the Cyclopses.
There's that, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like this. I love the game a lot, but that's a big problem for me. I'm like, there's just a lot of experiencing like the levels of the game, you know, and not enough like, okay, here's a boss to go fight.
There's a lot of talking
especially
about people and not actually showing the people.
Yeah, I mean, I understand it with the whole the protection thing that you get from Freya, but then there's that point where it goes away when you get rid of it at Tyr's Temple. So there should be more boss fights from that point forward in the game, and there really isn't.
It's like you know they make some sort of allusion to be like, you have to be really aware of your presence here because everyone knows, and Odin, the All-Father, knows, and it's that whole thing where they explain what Ragnarok is, past, present, or future. Your history is written here, so they know of you. But there is no real great demand for what the fuck are you going to do about it. You know what I mean?
It's the thing is that like the protection stave is just like they don't know where you are, and that's why Boulder and them went to go talk to Mimir because they're like, we can't find them. And then once it's gone, it's like you should know where they are. Mm-hmm. You know,
but he really killed.
Like that thing did nothing.
I should have picked up the pace from that point forward at Tyr's Temple, and it kind of did, but should have picked up a little more.
Enough.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that, I mean, it's kind of like yet to be seen as a disappointment was the actual scroll wheel that they gave you when you finally reach the bridge.
You're talking about the missing one, right? With Tyr?
No. You know, like, basically the realms that are available to you, the 9 realms that they have, you can only go to 4 of those realms initially. Yeah. Midgard, Alfheim, Niflheim, and Meflheim.
No lie, when I first got to that part, dude.
Muspelheim, sorry. Yeah.
When I first got to that part, I thought you were going to be able to go
to all of them,
all of them eventually.
Now, see, the reason why I say it's yet to be seen as a disappointment is, and I'm not entirely sure of it, but I would like to see what Santa Monica think they would find appealing or worthy as a DLC. If they have to include a DLC,
they're not doing DLC though.
They've already announced that there's going to be absolutely no DLC for this.
Yeah,
this is just the standalone game by itself.
This is all we get.
Well, see, then again, I would explain why even try to induce the other 9 realms, even if we couldn't access them. You might as well have just done what you did with everything else. Mention them, but never actually give us access to them. Mention them. That's fine. You know?
They know and we know this is not the last God of War game.
Yeah.
And that's why it's there. It's mainly there because they're going to be using a lot of stuff here in the sequel So it's like, they might as well just have it set up here now, so that way they don't have to make extra work when they build too, you know?
I just felt like being able, and at least at one point, not to say that I have to give away the whole story during this review, but Baldur at one point alludes that you might end up going to Asgard. There's no doubt in my mind that you actually will go to Asgard, but he alludes that at some point that you were actually going to be going there during the original story. Where it's just like, I fucking found, like, right...
When was that?
It was right, the original gates of Jotunheim. When Mimir's, when they, when Mimir's body went over the second time.
They got the chisel.
And when they first opened it the second time, he's like, hey, I found it. And then he's just like, now I'm gonna take you back to Midgard. And then it's just like, oh, sweet, like, this is gonna go in a direction where not only are we gonna fight Baldur, but now we're gonna be in the realm of the gods where
you mean Asgard?
Asgard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I remember that part now, yeah. Because at that part, I was just like, is Kratos gonna start fighting everybody? Like, what's gonna happen?
And I was actually thinking, with your kid on your hip, that might be a little more difficult. So I was just like, I thought what was gonna happen was, they were gonna be on the way to Asgard, and then shit gets left up, gets fucked over sideways. Which is kind of what happened, because...
It is kind of what happens, yeah.
Yeah, they ended up going, what was it? Helheim.
They go to hell. They go to hell, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that part was crazy.
So I'm not gonna lie, guys, like, leading up to that part, I did not like Atreus at all. Like, what they were doing with him. Like, once he got the reveal that he's a god.
Oh,
like,
man, yeah.
All
Don't
that
worry,
little ego trip.
It was the worst. I was like, this is horrible.
I thought the rest of the game was going to be like that, dude.
That's what I was worried about. I was like, oh, man, you're making me hate Atreus
Kids
super
are fucking
hard.
Awful. And they just illustrated that.
And, dude, like, when he was talking shit to Sindri and then to his mom,
He's
even,
like,
I was like...
fuck about your stupid fucking problems!
And he was
true,
like, and then he was just like, who cares about mom? She wasn't a god like us, It's like, goddamn.
And then when I saw Kratos get angry, he's just like, you will hold your tongue. And I was just like, I was like, you really don't want to see what they used to call your dad or why they called him that.
Ghost Spartan.
He's like, you see this whiteness in my skin?
Dude, okay, so, we gotta talk about it. Just the whole, like, sequence of Kratos going to get his blades.
Okay,
going to Helheim.
I want to tell you, this is why I was saving it. Okay, when I went to PSX, I met with Corey Balrog. I met Corey Balrog.
You met the boy?
I met him.
Nice.
And I started talking to him like, hey, dude, my grandma bought me the first fucking game and I've just been playing them since. And he's like, oh yeah, thank you, grandma. And I was talking to him about this and how, I forgot every detail, but I do remember the one question I asked him and he gave me like a simple answer, but I asked him, dude, so now you know how PlayStation is just, with Crash Bandicoot, with the success of that, and, Uncharted 4 putting, Crash Bandicoot in the game as, like, a nostalgia factor,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I told him, like, dude, what would make this game my game of, like, the year of all time and everything, is if you somehow if Kratos somehow gets his blades back.
Yeah.
And then he looked at me, he smiled, and he looked down a little bit. He's like, well, yeah, it looks like I have to go to the drawing board a bit. And then I played the game, and this beautiful fucking sequence.
Yeah, dude. Man. So when he was on the...
It's like he listened to me.
When Kratos was on the boat, I looked away for a second, and when it panned over his shoulders and fucking Athena showed up, I saw it, I was like, holy shit,
Oscar
what?
screamed. He's like, oh, fuck!
Yeah, I was like, what? I was like, holy shit, is this what's happening? Because my whole theory of this game before it came out was like, oh, the reason why Kratos has to fight the gods is because Athena's there telling Odin about Kratos. When I saw Athena, I'm like, holy shit, like, is this really happening right now?
She's snitching.
Yeah, and,
no, but
it's a figment of Kratos' imagination. I would like to believe that's not the case.
No, I sentiment that it proves what we know about the end of 3. Athena's dead. Athena's not coming back.
She has a higher,
she's on a higher
level.
plane.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, remember what they say about pantheons and gods. It's like, it's only basically about what you believe in. So,
death doesn't really mean much to
I feel like to Odin, Athena's not even relevant. Athena, even if she was on a higher plane, to Odin, that shit doesn't matter because she's not really involved.
But Athena was going to manipulate Odin. That was my thing. Mm-hmm. Is that she's toying with Odin to make him fight Kratos and have Kratos kill the Norse gods so she can get more power or whatever.
She can try again.
Yeah.
Let's be honest though. Her little monologue was fucking on point though. She's like, you can't hide what you are. You always will be a monster. He's like, but I'm not sure I'm a monster.
Oscar.
I was like, no,
Oscar. That part made me cry, dude. I'm serious.
Dude, the cinematography that they did for that moment of him going to his home, the blades, Athena at the doorway. Oh my god!
I do like about this game is like the cutscene to action. Like it's very so seamless.
Yeah, this game is all in one take.
Super duper smooth, and that I really liked.
The only cut that this game has is the secret ending at your house. That is the only cut in the game.
Oh, where it's just like this is where it happened a couple days later. Blah blah blah.
No. It's all the game is one continuous shot. There's no loading screens or anything. The only time where we get a camera change is during the ending with Thor.
How they load the next area is when like they go through crevices and things like that. That's how they load. When he's like, Atreus, come here.
Even with the fast travel, it's not a straight cut like how it would be.
Yeah.
In like Skyrim, you know. So that's really good stuff. But yeah, that stuff was great, and then they surprised me again when you're in hell. And Kratos is about to leave, and you just hear fucking Zeus.
I thought he was gonna come out. Like,
dude,
I thought he was. We were gonna like go through shit again. I'm like, fuck. Kinda do.
Yeah, it was crazy stuff, man.
Like, what's up, old man? When they whisper up again?
See, that part kind of like that part right there. I was like, holy shit, dude! Like that was like for me. That part was like, dude, like. This shit they know, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then another part about him going to hell was when Mimir was all like, he's like, why'd you say Zeus? He's all like, holy shit, you're the ghost of Sparta. And when he said that, I was like, that's it. They all fucking know they know who you are. Cause Mimir was like, bro, like, I've seen some shit, even Tyr had a boss. With Kratos on it, and when he had that boss, I was like, "Dude, that's crazy." Because remember when he told Tyr, when Mimir said Tyr went to every other
that means he was there during fucking the trilogy, the original trilogy.
No, he was probably there after Ares died.
You had to think about what part of the original God of War was there, Deus Ex Machina. You had to think really carefully. If they were going to try to involve Tyr in an old game, when would they have done it?
2.
Probably 2. 2
is the latest. 2 is the latest he would have shown up because in 2, that's the end of Sparta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and at that point, he tried to kill himself, and there was the vase where he showed like him killing Ares. So it was like it had to be right after.
Was it him killing Ares?
Yeah. I thought it was when he had the blades, and he was like all raging out.
After he was like, "Now you're the new God of War." And
but when he killed Ares, he didn't use the blades. He used the sword.
But it's like the whole. No, but he still got the blades. Remember after the whole, because he still had the blades. Like,
yeah. I thought it was just a normal depiction of Kratos.
Dude, when Mimir put it together, he's like, bro, and see, and this is what I realized. There's 2 points in the story where I realized Norse gods knew about Kratos, because remember that not only that part where Mimir's like, oh shit, you're the ghost of Sparta, you killed the whole pantheon of gods. He's like, from what I heard, they all deserved it. I was like, oh shit. And then Boulder, when he first showed up, he's like, when he met him, he's like, oh yeah, like he knew he was a god. He's like, oh look at you. He's like, oh yeah, you're supposed to be much smarter than us. And I was like, they fucking know who you are. They know what you did. They know what kind of god you are. And I was like, at that point, that's when I was like, they know that you, like, cause remember,
they're only going to expand on it more.
No, his wife hid the whole thing when they broke. Yeah. Cause remember, he showed up before he found her, he showed up to their land, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming Odin's like,
the way that he explained it to Atreus was, he wanted to leave his godhood behind, so he came to the new land as a man, as a mortal man.
No, he washed up on shore.
No, he didn't mention it. He just says, he was telling it to Atreus, he's like, I'm coming up. He's like, I left my godhood behind. I came onto this new land and wanted to live my new life as a mortal man. And then I met your mom. And then, as time goes, I was putting everything behind, and then everything came up. And when you came around, that's when all this shit started happening. It was basically, we're like, okay, well, Atreus is born. Now Atreus takes after Freya and only goes hunting with Kratos a few times. Because this is stuff that he alludes to during the progression of the game.
You mean Faye?
He's just like, Faye. Yeah, Faye. He's just like, oh, like, how come you've only taken me hunting a few times? Mom is usually taking me everywhere else. And it's just like, well, throughout that whole point, Kratos was still never ready to be a dad. Kratos was still...
Did you guys...
well, they couldn't leave the forest.
No, in all honesty, I don't think he was afraid of being a dad. It's just like, why would you want to bring your kid into, like, at any given point in time, they can send somebody to fuck you off? Because you are a
but
god.
see, not even Kratos was aware of that. Baldur was the first experience he had, bro, of anybody going, like, whether you, like, what do you know about
but because they had the barrier around the forest, that's why they never left the home.
Kratos never really liked Atreus because he just kind of reminded him of his past.
Did you guys read issue 0?
I was going to mention the comic books right now.
Right?
Yeah, did you read it? Because it goes into the lore with Kratos' and Atreus' backstory.
So what does it say in the comics?
He's just distanced himself, basically, from Atreus. Like, there's a scene in the comic where Kratos is out in the forest gathering supplies and a bunch of wolves show up, and he's trying to control his anger. Because that's a big issue for Kratos, right? Mm-hmm. And the wolves attack him, and he's just trying to leave, and then he finally snaps, uses the rage, and just kills the wolves. Shows up, he's being bandaged by Faye, he regrets killing the wolves because he lost control. And Atreus was like, hey, you did a good job, and he snapped at the boy because he's like, no, don't you see, boy, I lost, you know, like I was supposed to train, do this and that, and they have,
who says God of War is deep?
It's fucking, yeah.
They don't have a strong
Kratos willingly distances himself because he doesn't know what to do with Atreus. He doesn't know how to handle Atreus. And we even get that with Atreus' dialogue, in the game, throughout the game.
When he goes,
the family dynamics for Vikings are different than Spartans. So he has to...
tremendously.
Well, in general, Spartans are, like he said, like towards the end of the game, he's like, when you talk to him about Atreus,
where his name came from.
Yeah, he asked me, was he warrior? He's like, yeah, we're trained from birth. Like, it's our custom, like, basically, Spartans throughout history are like one of the strongest, like, breed of fucking humans. Like, bro, we'll fuck your shit up.
Where we were breed to war.
Yeah.
Basically, like that.
So basically, that was his custom. It's like one of those things. Like I get why he distanced. Like he didn't want to bring his son to the way he do the.
But you can sense the humility in him. In that same story, he's talking about how even though they're bred for war, in the initial sense, you're leaving behind all of your emotion, you're leaving behind your happiness.
But he's trying to find a balance.
But there was Atreus.
I saw 300.
Like when I, you know what's crazy?
I know everything now.
Just his partner, his war comrade Atreus. You know, no matter what, he would always go in and bring up their camaraderie, their spirit, because he had that spirit.
Smile and shit. But you know what tripped me out about that? You know what kind of tripped me out? What kind of made me mad? But at the same time, towards the end of the game, I kind of got it. Was like every time he snapped at Atreus for making a stupid decision, he's like, why would you do that? You know what I mean? And when he kept telling his son, what kind of brought it around a full circle at the end, he's like, I want you to be better. And whenever Atreus is like, this is it, this is what gods do, we kill our mothers, we kill our family, he's like, no, that's what we choose to do. And he's like, you have to be better, you have to choose to be better. And I was like, shit, dude, like, cause Kratos knew, cause when he told him about the whole God of War thing,
it all adds up. He's like talking about it.
Yeah,
I killed my father.
No, but remember, we told him, he's like, I made a deal with the God and cost me my soul. He's like, this is us, basically.
This was a big thing in what you're talking about, Akiel, that scene at the end, where he goes, boy, you know, I'm from Sparta, I killed my father. He didn't mention, he didn't mention what he did.
He didn't mention who his father was.
No, he didn't mention that he killed his wife and daughter.
Right, he doesn't.
That's the one thing he didn't bring up. But he brought up that he killed his father, and I'm like, there's a lot more he didn't bring up.
But that's not. But at the same time, that's not convenient for Atreus. No, it's not convenient for Atreus to know that he had a sister.
No, the scene. But that scene though was Freya was saying, "Does the boy know?"
No, but at the
and it's
same
like,
time,
what doesn't he know? He doesn't know about him killing his family.
But that, if you think about it, that's
say the whole truth. He only said partial truth.
That's too much. The base tax of it were, this is where I'm from. God of War 2 and God of War, whatever they're gonna fucking call them. I'm just gonna call them God of War 2 and God of War 3.
It's God of War Ragnarok.
Actually, this time they're probably subtitled.
Just without the synthwave music.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So when God of War Ragnarok comes around, there's no doubt in my mind that they're gonna delve deep into, hey, motherfucker, you're still pale. You have to explain the ashes.
The ashes.
You know, you have to explain.
Yeah, but I think
technically, I don't think they would have to explain it because when you look at Boulder's fucking pale as fuck too. Freya was
no, but Kratos is white.
No, but
ash white.
No, but I'm saying though, it's kind of like that whole thing is like, would you like in a sense of being a god, like, this motherfucker killed your son, Would you give a fuck why he's pale? Like, no, fuck that. Nigga has to die. It's like, for the sake of story, he didn't have to bring it up to Atreus, like, well, you know, I killed my family to become a god. It's like, no, nigga, like.
Yeah, but see, for me, just saying I killed my father is way too simplistic for what Freya was going for.
But it was but it fit the story because you killed her son and she got pissed. And then so the Atreus like, this is what we do, and he told him like, no, she said, do you know, like, basically like, yeah, I had to kill somebody I love too, my father, and that's what I remember.
Not
like love, but the whole thing is like, remember when he, remember that one time when you go to the cave, he's like, oh man, he stabbed his dad, he's like, why would you do that?
He killed his own father.
He killed his own father, and then basically it brought that in full circle. Remember what he told you? He like, I'll do it. Only a parent would understand. He's like, would you let me kill you? He's like, if you meant you live, yes, I'll let you do it. Mm-hmm. And it's basically the whole thing, like, she kind of like tried to put him on blast. Like, does your son know why you're a god? And he just told him the main bits, like, made a deal, became a god, killed my father.
There were two conversations, because no matter what, the first conversation, he told him enough, but still basically lied.
I'm a god boy?
Yeah, like the whole thing on the boat. Like, you're cursed. He was like, you said I was cursed. And he's like, why am I cursed? You know what I mean?
Speaking of the boat, that's how he tells all his stories. Like, he went down to the little fables.
My favorite boat story,
bullet point, that's it. This is the rabbit and the turtle did this, and now the rabbit lost.
No,
that's how he tells all his stories.
That's dad core.
Let's be honest.
No, but did you guys get the story
that was the greatest fucking
of him telling his story?
It's the best part of the game.
Kratos tells his story to Atreus through analogies.
Yeah.
Talking about a man on a horse.
The guy who killed him.
Mm-hmm.
No. He's talking about himself to Ares.
Yeah, the mom who cursed or whatever. Like,
no, not that one.
Wait, what?
No, there's he tells the story of there was a horse who made a deal with a man, and to let him ride on his back. And I forgot how the rest of the story goes, but it's the analogy of Kratos and Ares. Mm-hmm. He tells him his story through there. That's my favorite boat scene.
You can never go to your destination now because you made this deal with me. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever the full story was. Yeah, it was really good.
He's like, and he told Atreus like, now who's really trapped or whatever because the guy didn't uphold his the bargain.
Yeah, but I think the fact that they didn't say Kratos killed his family means that they're going to bring it up in the next game, and I don't want that.
The graphics explain it. His tattoos faded, but his skin never did.
My hope for God of War Ragnarok was that this because one thing that I feel like a lot of people forgot about.
You guys gotta remember that. Why did he say he has nothing left to hide? Remember when
that's the thing? He's like, I have nothing left to hide.
Jotunheim. That's like, when he takes out the bandages and you can see the searing scars from all the chains and shit like that.
From the blades of Athena, yeah.
So, one thing that God of War, and I'm just going to admit this, God of War has really fucked up on this since the first God of War. It's their progression with time. If you remember the ending of the first God of War, when he became the God of War, remember how they were basically describing how he got bored being the God of War because
he tried to kill himself.
Yeah, he killed himself because. But what happened? They showed you cutscenes of World War I and World War II, thinking like, the way that they wage war is different, and he got bored of that and he wanted to kill himself, and so he tried. Remember, he tried to do that.
No, yeah, he tried.
It's not that he's bored. It's just. I mean, he's also bored, but he's living a cursed life. But that's just,
it's not the boring part that's important. Like I said, it's a progression of time. It's just like, okay, well, you have to imagine at the end of 3, destroying a whole pantheon, which inevitably destroyed a whole land, Mount Olympus. And for the most part, what we assumed was the world.
Well, a whole realm.
A whole realm.
From what we find out now.
We don't really have, and what is not really important to focus on is the characteristics or jurisdiction of what a realm contains. But it's the progression of, you had to escape that basically destroyed realm that you did and move to the Nordic realm. And then from there, we still don't have a basic idea of how long it was until you met Faye, until you met Atreus. And then and one thing that I feel like they're holding back on you is how old Atreus is. Atreus is a child. But if he's half a god, and especially with how long Faye has been alive and with how long Kratos has been alive, you actually have no idea how old Atreus is.
I think Atreus is as old as he is. Mm-hmm.
Atreus,
because it's like, well, kids are gonna grow up until they're like, they hit an age where like they just stop growing.
It's kind of what Mimir said. He's all like, can giants die of old age? He's like, yeah, some.
It's very rare.
Yeah, he's like, but it's very rare. So basically Atreus can live for like, like it's like an unrealistic age. Like, you know, like he can live to like his end of his godhood.
And mixed with being, you know.
Yeah, I have my own doubts about what's going on with the Giants. Like when you finally get to Jotunheim, I had all, without a doubt in my mind, I had every instance of seeing Jotunheim to actually be someone there. For you to find out, like when you actually reach the top, they were wondering where everybody at. Everybody's there. They're just dead.
I think the lesson of this game is that history repeats itself, and I think Atreus is going to sell his soul too.
So let's talk about it.
Theories.
No, I mean, let's talk about like the biggest twist in the game, which I didn't like.
Atreus' second name.
Atreus' original name was gonna be
Loki.
Yeah, it was gonna be Loki. And once I heard that, I was pretty high with the game. And when I heard Loki, it fell for me, dude. Mm-hmm. I hated every bit of it, mainly because I'm like, that just screams next game. Loki equals next game. You know?
I don't feel like they're going to be jumping around and using his name has nothing to do with it. It's the point of who you know what Loki is.
Yeah,
who is Loki? Loki was a half giant, half god, right? Now we assume.
No, he's not half god. He's full giant.
Half god.
He's full
giant. Now he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. In this scenario, he's half god, half giant.
Like all god, like ice giant.
Yeah, he's full ice giant.
So we're thinking now it's in the case of we didn't really expect that the god part was going to come from Kratos. You know, we were assuming like if we were thinking of Loki or every other aspect of Loki is, you know, on Team Odin, you know, not against Team Odin. So
but Loki plays a crucial part in Ragnarok.
Of course.
That's why it screams sequel. And like that, once you hear the name Loki and you find out Faye's real name is Laufey, the true queen of Jotunheim.
Laufey the Just.
Yeah, Laufey the Just. That's why Baldur went to their house. He wasn't there for Kratos. He was there for Faye. Because she was the last key to get to Jotunheim, which is where Odin wanted to go.
Yeah, because she was the last protector in Midgard that can actually access.
Mm-hmm. And there's something there that Odin wants.
Something.
He wanted knowledge. The sad part about that is, Odin finally has access to, or once he finally gets access to it, and he's going to be disappointed because they're all dead. Which isn't something that he was expecting.
Yeah.
Which isn't something that we were expecting.
Which is a bunch of sequel stuff. And
the last Jotun is, what's his name?
Is Atreus. And not about you guys, but for me, I wanted this to be the last game for Kratos. Mainly because I feel so much of Logan elements in this game. Like, there's a lot. And I was like, yeah, like, this should be Kratos' last game, but no, he's gonna continue till 6.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, don't say that, because number 2, even though I never played number 2 had basically the best character developments and story plots against in the whole trilogy.
Yeah,
God of War
2's my favorite.
God of War 2 was basically like, I caught up to you. What happened? He caught up to just at the end, and you beat the shit out of him, and you're like, this is it. This is the end of the game. And then, boom, Athena comes and then plot twists you, right? So who's to say something that, like, for something that I can foresee, I can actually foresee Kratos dying and the game continuing. I could see Atreus growing up.
I'm totally fine with Atreus continuing the God of War series.
That's what I feel like.
That's
the next one. Like, he's gonna be growing up and, my friend, Jose, you met him, Danny.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
His theory as Kratos' death is the trigger that starts, Ragnarok.
No, Baldur's death triggered Ragnarok.
Oh, really?
It already started.
No, yeah, cause remember when you killed Baldur, you talk to Sindri and Mimir's all like, whoa, bro, like, this is the winter, the end all winter. It's gonna last for 3 fucking years. He's like, what happened? He's like, bro, this is Ragnarok. Ragnarok started.
You started Ragnarok
he's
early.
Like, the prophet, he's like, and then we talk about the prophecy. He's like, the prophecy, this wasn't supposed to start for like another couple hundred years. You just sped it up. And I was like, oh, so you fucked up.
That's why when you go to sleep, it says it takes a couple of years. Because when you wake up, it's when Ragnarok starts.
They're not asleep for 3 years.
But no, yeah, that's what it says.
That's like,
it's just 3 years later at the end of the winter. That's when Thor shows up.
In all honesty though, I don't think that, like, that seems what, like, starts Ragnarok, but I think that's like one of those things is like this, like.
That's something that they're helping you allude to.
No, what I think it is, cause remember what Mimir said, he's all like, the prophecy said, like, this was gonna happen, this is how it's supposed to happen. Remember, he's all like, the prophecy never accounted for you. So I'm assuming Thor just shows up like, bro, like, cause remember, Odin wants control. He's like, bro, this nigga's a wild card. We can lose Ragnarok at any given point in time as long as he breathes. So I'm assuming, basically, what I'm assuming is like, Thor's there like, bro, my dad's fucking like terrified cause Odin wants control. He's like, bro, we don't know whose side you're on. We don't know why the fuck, like, like basically like, what are you gonna do? But it's best that we just get you out of the way so that way we can.
Oh yeah, Thor's gonna fight Kratos.
Yeah,
for sure.
I would hope, in all honesty, I would hope the next one is the last God of War game in general. Cause at that point, it's just like, there's no point in just kind of like dragging it on. Cause
for the next God of War
games. Cause remember, the snake is the fucking key because he knows how Ragnarok ends. Cause remember, he's like, he got hit with
the world starts from the future.
No, yeah, he got hit with the blast so powerful it knocked him back before he was born. And he's like, how does that work? And he's all like, he's like, basically,
it's like the end and the beginning.
He's like, it's like prophecy stuff. So the snake already know how Ragnarok gonna account for.
Even Mimir has basically just been honest with them. It's just like, yeah, Ragnarok is just, it works the way it works.
Yeah,
like past, present, and future all intertwined at the same time.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, nothing is parallel. Everything is singular to the given event of which it starts. My fucking thing is, and one thing that I hope that they bring back in the next ones is, I want them to bring back like the feeling that you get when you get your power-ups. You know what I mean? Like in the first God of War, remember you had to talk to, the very first one you get was in the same ship that you were fighting the Hydra in, where you talked to Poseidon, and Poseidon was like, hey, what's up, nigga? Come take this shit. You know,
hey, I'm not gonna lie, in God of War 1, Poseidon was cool as fuck. He's like, yo, my guy, I see you trying to fight this thing.
Well, dude, in Chains of Olympus, you saved Helios in that game, so. Yeah.
Yo, I just love how basically, like, the whole thing was like, I like how the pace changed between God of War, the first trilogy.
One thing that I want. Egyptian gods next.
You know?
And Nio is gonna show up and.
William's gonna show up.
William's gonna show up like, bro, you got some arena. He's like, what? He just starts cutting him.
Now, I don't think I'm pretty sure he still has the Tyr's ultimate key, right?
No, it's gone.
It's gone.
Oh, he put it into that pedestal, but he never got it back?
No, they couldn't take it back.
The only way I can think he can go to Jotunheim is basically...
Wasn't Tyr's ultimate? No, you can't go to Jotunheim. Once you leave Jotunheim,
remember they flipped Tyr's temple, and then they found that black rock.
That's the black one that has the gold thing on it.
Yeah, and they jumped, they went off the path on the world tree, and that rock protected them so they could get to Jotunheim, and they activated the thing for Tyr's temple to even work in Jotunheim.
They can still go to Jotunheim because remember the keys within the keys in Mimir's eye. Because remember the crystal may be gone.
No. The key is not the key is in Mimir's eye. But Atreus is the key.
No, but you're talking about the crystal. The crystal brought the temple back to that realm. That's what that thing was for. Remember,
Mimir's eyes is to help him travel from realm to realm. That's what the crystals do. The crystals
but that's what I mean.
The temple is there for Jotunheim.
The temple's there. I'm assuming with him, they can always go back as long as they have Mimir. Because remember, when the thing shot, all he had to do is hit Mimir's eye and turn it around. Like it's like the key still. Mimir is the key.
But he's not the key. Like the key is the.
Not the key, but he's on not like the physical keystone, but like he's like he can get in because he has the sight of the giant. Because what's in it?
Well, no, because his eyes can store. The travel power. That's not what the giants have.
But no, I'm saying, but he can still open. Like the whole thing was like. How he got the door open in the first place because he used his eyes.
They can once you beat the game, you cannot go. And I'm just talking canonically wise. You cannot go back to Jotunheim. They made it so that you couldn't go back.
You could with Mimir, is what Akiel's saying.
Yeah.
Even now, you still probably couldn't go back.
I'm not talking about physically.
Mimir has the ability to perceive the light for you to actually go there, but without the rune in itself, you couldn't.
But they have the rune.
Atreus now has the rune.
So yeah, I'm not saying in the game, but story-wise, they can go back to Jotunheim whenever they want, as long as they have Mimir's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Mimir, as long as Mimir stays alive, technically they can always just like,
Well, they just need his eyes. That's all they need.
His eyes are a new crystal for Jotunheim. That's pretty much it.
His eyes are basically the crystals. He can go to any realm. Because what they were explaining to you was. It's a shortcut for the giants to replace their eyes with crystals, so that way they didn't always have to use the gate.
Yeah.
That's what happened with Mir, because he basically, that's the only way he can travel.
Tyr did the same thing.
Both eyes.
Yeah,
Tyr had them in his eyes,
well, because Tyr's a giant.
Not just because he's a giant, because not all giants had them. Giants were the ones that made them. but not every giant had them, because not every giant needed to go back and forth. There were giants in Midgard, but the giants in Midgard didn't have them.
I think every giant.
Not every giant had them.
Well, why else would they get Faye?
Because Faye didn't have them either.
They needed Faye to go to Jotunheim.
Faye was in Midgard.
Yes.
She was a guardian to protect them from ever opening.
Yeah, so but they needed her to open it.
She was meant to stay there, but it doesn't mean that she had the eyes. Obviously, if she had the eyes, then Kratos and Atreus would have known what the eyes were.
The lore you read in Tyr's Temple is him saying that giants have them in their eyes, so that way they can travel whenever they want. All giants.
It didn't say all giants. It never said that.
The picture depicts all giants.
Because remember, I'm just saying, because there were giants stuck in Midgard. They couldn't just use the eyes whenever they want and go to Jotunheim.
Because remember what the whole thing was.
They weren't stuck.
The whole thing was. Remember when Odin?
No, they had to get away.
No, remember when Odin was raging out, right?
Yeah, Odin was going after every Midgard, every giant.
Because remember, Tyr is the reason why you couldn't go to Jotunheim, because he hid the gate. So the giants knew where it was at. It's like one of those things, one thing kind of like the elves. Like the dwarves are like, oh yeah, no, we can pretty much go anywhere because they have shortcuts to everywhere. The giants always had that option. Some giants who made it back, because remember, Faye was like the reason why, like, she protected the gate from the Midgard perspective. So basically, anybody who tried to get to the gate, she would be like, no, nigga, like, I'm gonna stop you because you can't go back to my home world. But the giants, they got stuck behind. That was their ass. Like, basically like this, like, hey, like, get on a plane. Hey, you gotta get there before 6 o'clock. Well, I just got here at 6:01. Yeah, sorry. It's not like the gate's permanently closed to you, but just like, your access at that point in time is just shut down because you didn't make it. The giants who were stuck on Midgard, who were stuck in that realm, they got fucked off. Remember the other giant?
They all got fucked off.
Thor killed him. The giant with the multi-arms got killed. The one at Muspelheim is just like out there for something. Like he's still, I would assume, like, story mythological, the story wise,
Surtur.
The sword. Yeah, that giant, he must be still alive. He said, Mimir's like, oh, he's out here somewhere, just honing his sword, because he's the reason why Ragnarok would happen, because he burns down the gates to fucking Asgard, and they just get fucking raided. You know what I mean?
I think his soul was in the sword. That's what they were trying to perceive.
Like I said, in all honesty, it's not like they couldn't go back home, but it's just the fact that
Ragnarok is just God of War 3 all over again. Then.
Well, yeah,
God of War 3 is Ragnarok.
In the very beginning, that's what I was trying to, because, like I said, God of War, the original God of War trilogy, the main god Baldur dies in this one, just like the main god Ares would die in that one. And the next one, because then again, I never played number 2, but you were telling me what? Not a lot of more major gods die, but basically, like, whoever was in your way at that point. So I feel like it's rising based on a tier level. Like, you have your lows, middles, and highs.
Yeah, but the thing with Baldur is his death specifically triggers it. That's why they made him
it just happens to be that in this pantheon, their destinies are all intertwined. That's just the main thing that they're trying to get across to you.
Together.
Yeah, the thing with Greece is like curses. And then here it's like, no, it's destiny. Like, you can't change it.
Mm-hmm. So it's basically not just revolving around a different pantheon, but a different theme as well.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, Kratos is now going against fate. Because, remember, fate is something that he could have changed. Like, as a matter of fact,
fates are lies told by the gods.
What was the fourth one called? God of War Armageddon or whatever?
You're talking about Ascension, the prequel.
Ascension, right? He was fighting the fates of his pantheon, which were the Andromedas. The Andromedas were something...
No. You're talking about the Furies. The Furies
kind of kept law and order.
They controlled the fate of the gods, but they weren't the fates themselves. He kills the fates in 2.
Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah, he does. He kills
because in 2, Zeus kills him, but he gets brought back by the Titans. Mm-hmm. And basically, the whole point of the game is you go to the Sisters of Fate to travel back in time before Zeus kills you, so you can kill him.
That was basically the end of the game right there, where you just ended up back where you started.
That's the whole story of 2, is like your journey to traveling back in time.
Ever.
Yeah. That's the whole
Back to the future.
That's the whole purpose of 2, is you're trying to go back in time. So yeah, he killed him in 2. Crazy stuff, man.
I don't know if they'll have a lot of spin-offs like they did before, like Chain of Memory.
No, there's no way.
So like, you pop up right behind Zeus, like when he's like killing you, And then you're like, hey, you just killed me, but hey.
Sup, nigga?
Guess what? Shink.
What's up, nigga?
Kratos is like, sup, nigga? So that's...
So, maybe they're trying to allude that, like, Ragnarok and whatever happened in 3 happened at the same time.
It's not going to be your normal Ragnarok.
Happened, like,
because
Kratos is involved. Loki's a whole different person.
Kratos is the wild card that they never, like Amir said, the prophecy said Ragnarok was going to happen, but they never accounted for you.
They were always meant to intertwine.
And Kratos showing up is like Mimir, he's all like, I kept going north and I ended up here.
Mm-hmm.
Kratos did the same thing, he ended up there, but it's like, but they didn't account for another god from another pantheon to show up, like, to fuck with their, if Kratos honestly didn't do a damn thing, if Boulder didn't try to fuck with Kratos, and if they didn't try to get it Jotunheim, it would have been a totally different game. He would have just been like living his life. The sky could have cracked open, gods would have fallen. Chris like,
making my way down.
Not my problem. Went back to chopping wood. Yeah, he could have been chopping wood if God fell in front of him. Hey man, you good? Yeah. All right, fucking thing.
Yeah, this is why I
just
would
break
think,
some wood. You have a good one and walk off about the
why I would
wood.
think the next game would be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, I feel like the next game is going to be heavily on Atreus and how whether or not he's going to turn evil in the game, because that's how Loki is in Ragnarok, and we saw hints of that in this game when Atreus found out he's a god.
Well, what do we know about Loki, the god of mischief? Basically,
I don't know much, but I will be doing an episode with Connor soon talking about Norse mythology, because Connor is Thor.
In this case, Atreus is what? Atreus is like
Atreus is Loki.
No, I mean in regards to what Atreus' actual personality by the end, not during. But
Loki, as far as I know of Loki and Ragnarok, he transitions personalities like that.
We know that at least in Atreus' perspective, his godhood abilities only revolve around I don't know. Like I said, I don't know a lot about Loki and actual Norse mythology, but like in regards to incantations and spells and like lifeblood, he can understand animals. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
he can hear the dead.
This next one is going to decide why they should suggest if he is going to be any sort of mischievous at all, if he can create illusions like the original Loki can or anything like that.
I don't know about all that, but like the whole God of Mischief stuff, they're not going to do that.
But what I want, that's what I'm saying. What I want from God of War is I want more like how the original trilogy was. Like, for you to gain something from your pantheon, like the way that Kratos did in the first one, I want this to happen for Atreus, not for Kratos. Kratos can get the weapons for all I fucking care, because that's what makes him cool. But I want Atreus to be an actual god, not just somebody who's gonna have super strength and fucking yell and catch himself on fire. You know what I mean?
He tried to do that, yeah.
Yeah, he did try very briefly and got sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see with God of War 2. The third part of the last boss fight of the game, I did not like Freya at all.
I felt like she was utterly useless.
Her actions came out of nowhere. And like, I get it, in actual Norse mythology, Baldur is one of the most beloved gods that they have. So when he dies, it is a sad day when Baldur dies. Mm-hmm. Not because of Ragnarok starts, but because Baldur is gone. And when we get that scene with Freya, like, my baby boy, I didn't like it because it came out of nowhere. One, I didn't feel like, in the game, it didn't feel like anybody even liked Baldur. Like, Thor's kids, it felt like they didn't even like, Baldur, but they're like, well, he's our uncle, so we just have to go along with it.
They changed his lore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just the perspective we got, but yeah, like...
That's the thing about this.
Well,
they're just gonna revolve...
He was enchanted for only like a couple hundred years, right?
He was enchanted for, like 100 years.
So that means he's probably beloved up until that point, and then he became an asshole.
Well, but that's the thing with God of War is it's the perspective of Kratos, and even Cory Barlog says in interviews, he's like, yeah, the mythology is skewed because we're seeing it through Kratos' eyes.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're gonna change the mythology.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure
Atreus,
Thor is still a dick and kills a lot of people like that. Same thing with Odin. I've always known Odin as just an angry eye patch guy.
Angry pirate.
Yeah.
He's fucking paranoid. The way they described him, he's paranoid of everyone at all times.
Well, no, like even besides like the
he's
game,
paranoid when he doesn't have control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, I gotta know where everything is and everyone is at the exact thing every time.
Yeah. And see, with the stuff Freya tells you after you kill Baldur, and then the stuff you get with the Valkyrie Queen, I'm like, that's...
I haven't gotten there yet, don't spoil.
You haven't? Yeah, I haven't gotten there either. I saw a clip.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You went to sleep inexplicably for...
Oh, you didn't get there either, huh, Oscar?
But you know...
Valkyrie Queen?
You know what's really weird, though?
Oh,
I killed like 4 of them, though.
I killed like 2 of them.
No, so the Valkyrie Queen, when you kill her, you get a piece of dialogue that...
No, that's okay. You can try to say it, actually.
Do you want me to say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So the queen, they asked the queen, like, why did you imprison your Valkyries? Why did you do this? Like, you're causing trouble in Asgard, like, and hell, like, there's dead running amok. And they're like, well, we've only taken orders from our true leader, and that's Freya. And so Freya's the leader of the Valkyries. And when I heard that, I'm like, it makes sense. She's trapped in Midgard because of Odin. You know, she can't do anything because of Odin.
So they're revolting by...
So her revolting is creating chaos in Midgard, Asgard, Helheim, by trapping her Valkyries, so that way disorder happens.
Environment for Ragnarok.
Yeah. So that's it's going to be one of those things where, you know, the sequel to this game is going to be Ragnarok, and somewhere in the middle, Freya's going to show up, and her plot's going to lead into the third game.
I'm probably sure because...
And so she's the new Athena, basically.
Yeah, because Athena died in the next one, there's no doubt in my mind she's probably going to die in the next one.
No, she's not going to die in the next one.
She goes from being the Tess to the...
I'm pretty, yeah. She goes from Tess to Athena. That's crazy.
Unless they do something crazy. And she
it's funny, before you find out she's Freya, I was like, yep, her and Kratos are going to bang.
I know, right?
Oh, she's the...
this is my sex minigame.
She's the new mom, just because you see how her and Atreus interact.
Aphrodite, she's going to be just like...
Yeah,
and you know what? She really like gave me like that. What was that lady's name from The Last of Us?
Tess.
She gave me that Tess vibe. I was like, you're temporary as fuck. I can feel it. Like,
but you know, but I was like, oh, this is Atreus' new mom, and then they said Freya. I'm like, oh, that's out the window. Freya ain't gonna bang Kratos.
No.
Speaking of Kratos, his name's only brought up like 3 times in this game.
What do you mean?
Like, they only say Kratos 3 times in the game.
Unless you're fighting Baldur, then Freya says it a lot.
Freya says it in the last part, and then it's brought up 2 other times in the game. And that's it. Like, you never hear his name from anybody, which is interesting.
But you hear,
boy!
I would assume like not the many people would know who he is.
I mean, like, I remember when the first, E3 boss fight that they showed, the troll said God Killer, and I was like, oh yeah, so they know he's Kratos. Yeah.
His name is cursed. Can't say his name. It's like,
Voldemort.
Yeah, the Lord Moldy Butt.
So
you don't say that! What, Lord Moldy Butt? Why?
I was thinking of this, when we found out about Tyr, how Tyr was the god of war. Right? And I thought, like, what would be interesting for the next game is Odin tries to recruit Kratos to be the new god of war and help him postpone Ragnarok.
What I still think of is, I think there are going to be a lot more instances where Kratos is going to, like, not going to want to reveal shit that's going to be forced upon him, because there are still other realms, and these other realms, we don't know what they are, how they work, if they, like, for example, anything like Helheim. Everything was out of his control in Helheim. The moment you set foot in Helheim, your like secret side of you was going to come out one way or another.
Oh, that side of Helheim specifically.
Yeah.
Next to that fucking bird.
So just like the actual like Tartarus and stuff like that, I can imagine that you're going to go back to Helheim in number 2. You're going to go back to Helheim in number 3. You have some shit to do. We all saw how it was all basically maze-like, misty and shit like that.
Yeah.
And there was like. The very first time, because if you notice, the first time you go to Helheim and the second time you go to Helheim, they're not the same pathways.
No, yeah, because you get shot off into the area that Mimir told you not to go to, which gave you those visions of Atreus killing one of the brothers, and then we see the fucking Kratos killing Zeus.
Before that, you even see Freya, and that's how you find out about Baldur.
Freya and Baldur, yeah.
Speaking of that bird in Helheim, dude, that thing reminded me of the one fucking bird from God of War 2, or that one...
Oh, yeah.
Remember that boss fight?
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of. I'm like, why does this look so familiar?
Mm-hmm.
God of War 2, that's why.
Well, Cory Barlog is the guy that did God of War 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Lots of...
That's why this game, that's why I like this game a lot, probably, because it has a lot of similarities to 2.
Thank you, Cory Barlog, man. You delivered, bro.
Christopher Judge, I loved him as Kratos.
Oh,
yes.
He was amazing.
Oh my
From
God.
when I was so iffy, Danny, but when I booted up that game and I heard him, you know,
Is that not his original voice actor?
No, it's not.
He's a different voice actor.
Completely.
And from what I heard from the LP I'm watching from Best Friends, Pat explained it like they wanted to do mocap for Kratos, and the original voice actor was too short. And also the kid that voices Atreus did not like the original voice actor, like personally. Or something, so that's why they didn't choose him.
That's fucked up.
So you're telling
first
me...
of all, Atreus is a new character, so whoever they picked for Atreus...
Well, they weren't gonna use him anyway because he's too short, but another reason was because the kid playing Atreus just didn't like him.
Like a personal vendetta.
Because of
against him.
something.
You're telling me the original voice actor for Kratos is too short?
Yeah.
For what?
For Kratos.
For mocap.
The motion capture.
Oh, motion capture.
Yeah, mocap. Because Kratos is like fucking tall in this game. Like the first scene with him like
He's
walking up
5'11".
to Boulder, I was like, God damn, like was he always this fucking tall?
Yeah.
Like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dude, I really like
Christopher Judge.
No, you don't remember. Kratos was fucking small. He was a tiny
Well,
nigga.
different camera angles, and his stance was also he would hunch a little with his legs wide, like the statue I have.
Yeah, he had that Spartan
Position. Yeah, Gerard
He was
Butler.
always
looking.
all
like
three
lunged.
games. He had to.
He was always like lunged forward, ready to fight.
But that's why I always thought it was funny, especially like when you see the base and you see like Kratos has like a super huge fucking torso but tiny legs.
Homeboy's buff, yeah.
And I was just like,
Arms for days, legs for men's.
He's the Chad dad.
He's the Chad dad. He literally went hashtag Chad to dad.
Yeah. That's why God of War is our game.
It's our game. This year's the year of the dads. That and Yakuza 6, dude.
Dude, like at my restaurant,
God.
a couple of,
she wants
like we had a
that,
party
it's
of 23 and half of them were dads.
It just looks so much fun. Like,
Yakuza's great. It's a great series.
You have it already?
I have 6.
I'm kind of glad 4, 5, and 6 are, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5.
Are coming,
Remastered, so I'm like,
versions.
now I don't have to fucking game
Go
hunt.
back to the PS2.
You know, I don't have to game hunt and shit.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Anything else about God of War?
Gameplay mechanics is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, once I got the Blades of Chaos, I was like, this is just God of War.
Mm-hmm.
Like, holy shit.
That's what he was looking forward to. He's like, oh, I just can't wait till I get the Blades again.
Did you guys notice the
still
camera
haven't
callback? The part when you're going to Jotunheim and you have to fight those waves of enemies, the camera pulls back like original God of War.
Mm-hmm.
That was real nice.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was either that instance or another instance where the camera pulls back like God of War, like the original God of War games. That was pretty cool.
oh, for me it was
Towards the end.
When you use the blades, it starts pulling back, so you can see
what
your
boy.
area.
Akiel.
I want to say it was when you go to Jotunheim because I remember it. You know the room you're in when you throw the stone in the floor, and then like it starts going through different realms, and you hit waves of enemies from those realms. Right, the camera pulls back, and I was like, "That's fucking." And then right there, I'm playing. I'm like, "This is just the original God of War, dude." Oh my god. But no, the core gameplay mechanics,
I loved it.
is amazing because it's literally the transition of what hack and slashes were to what they are now as far as Soul series go. You know? Because I believe Soul series are the new hack and
It
slash.
involves still a little bit of strategy on like how you defeat enemies, and there's a million different ways to skin a cat.
Yeah, I fucking hate fighting Valkyries, dude. Like,
right? You don't
They're
have to
fun
just
boss
hack and
battles,
slash one single.
I enjoyed
way.
those boss battles a lot.
those are good. Some
hack and
yeah.
slash till you rage. That's how you play the game.
Mm-hmm. Really great stuff. Atreus is just too powerful in this game, dude. Like,
Oh yeah.
his combo extensions are ridiculous.
Yeah. Dude.
What do you use? Fighter, shooter, or healing?
I use healing.
Yeah, me too.
I
Which
would
upsets me because he barely throws the healing stone.
I know he's useless.
see. I had the
Just
healing,
like
and then I
Arnold.
switched to
Just like
the
Arnold.
shooter, the archer.
More damage.
I heard
more
shooter's the best one.
I know. Honestly, yeah, because you get those arrows really fucking fast. I mean, honestly, the healing one is the only one that's going to give you any sort of bonus for your runic.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, it's not like the cooldown gets any faster anyway, so you're just shit out of luck.
Cooldown.
And it's all about that wolf.
Well, look, it's either cooldown or stamina.
That's the best one, dude.
That is
Honestly,
I don't want stamina in a God of War
Or
game.
more like vitality, really.
Well, no, because if they didn't do the runic attacks, it would just be a Souls game.
True.
Because they would give Kratos stamina.
True.
And Kratos is not a character that should have stamina.
Yeah.
That's true.
But
That
they
should be a part of his godhood, actually.
We all need stamina.
standing up.
I like the rage mode in this game.
I liked it too.
Yeah.
You know what tripped me out? Like my last little bit, I was I think it was like somewhere in the end. I think it was towards the end where he tells Atreus like, "Yo, like let's hurry up and do this. While I still have strength." I was like, "Are you dying?" When he told him that, I was like,
Yeah.
"Are you dying or something?"
I don't think it's him dying. It's just him getting old.
Yeah.
You know, that was brought up a lot
Kratos
when
was always moral first.
he fought Baldur in the beginning. He always said old and slow.
Yeah.
You know, and that I think when he fought the Thor's kids again, they said like you're just old and slow.
Yep.
And one thing I like what Pat said in the LP I'm watching. He said like we don't know how long this has been. This could be 100 years later.
Again, progression of
yes.
time. 100 isn't even fucking
don't
begin
know.
to simplify what's been going on with him.
Yeah, but like just to see like the fact that he's like see how much he's aged and like the
'Cause
fact that
remember-
he's only a demigod.
Yeah,
you can only
remember
get so
Oscar?
far with that.
Exactly. He was made to a god. He wasn't born a god. Mortality.
You
was
saw- okay,
mortal first.
not that it matters or anything, but I feel like having that perspective that he's a demigod is only about a fourth of the way through, because then I'm only saying, not on one occasion, but on multiple occasions during the original trilogy, he has been eviscerated, lacerated, basically fucking
He wasn't
left for
eviscerated.
dead. At the end of 3, where he pulls the fucking sword out of his stomach and he has a giant gaping hole in his fucking stomach, and he just falls over, and incoherently we all know that he was still alive.
Yeah, because he crawls into the ocean and then he washes up on in Midgard. But no, so he's born a demigod, becomes a god. He gets stripped of the god powers. He gets them back, and then he stabs himself, losing the full god powers or something. So he's back to square
retains
one.
his own godhood, which is just a strange.
Which is a demigod.
Just from him being born.
Yeah.
But he
Like,
Yeah,
like Hercules.
You have to remember what Kratos' actual
and
power
also,
is, because that's something that
He's
they
just-
never taught. They
he's
never
just
touched
strong.
on it. It's more than that.
They kind of like attach the godlike powers to the blades. That I think.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
thing
they
with
make
Kratos
him
is
with blades for a while.
his god power is just he's really strong, just like Hercules. All his other powers were given to him. Like the Rage of Sparta, that was given to him in God of War. And then he just got new versions. Like in God of War 2, you get the Titan Rage. And then in God of War 3, you get God Rage. And then here it's back to the Rage of Sparta.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought it was. Was it God Rage?
It was either God Rage or
No,
Titan,
I think it was Spartan.
or Spartan Rage again.
It was Spartan Rage,
Yeah.
and you just pulled out the blade to double up.
Yeah, you
just
pull
start
out-
wailing.
It's just the power up that was given to him, pretty much. That's why it's temporary or whatever.
Kratos is gonna die.
We have Guardians on their spawn.
I'm really looking forward to the progression, because I would not like, I'm not just gonna be cursing it and say that's what I want to see. I want to see Kratos dead, but I want him. I want the mantles to change. You know?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for me, I'm not excited for the next God of War game. Mainly because I felt like this could have been a pretty good ending for Kratos. You know?
Good job.
And it's just like, the stuff that were like, yeah, all this is going for the next game. And like, Cory Barlog was in an interview, he's like, we were making so much stuff, and then we realized, well, hold on, now we're making a second game. Let's hold off and let's back out on some of the stuff we want to add into God of War. And so they're saving all the stuff that they already came up with for the next game. And I'm like, I don't know.
Alright,
It'll probably come out 2020.
Let's see.
Right
Let's see.
before the PlayStation.
It's gonna be a
5
launch
was
title
announced.
for the PS5.
I hope
That's what
not.
I was thinking too.
I kind of hope not because I still
They're
want to
probably gonna
play
be
it.
two versions though, Danny. Like,
Oh yeah, it's gonna be on
Yeah,
PS4
for
for
sure.
sure.
For sure.
Unless it's like, unless the PS5 is doing something crazy to where it's like it's a PS5 exclusive for a reason.
They might bring back like Wii controls. I just feel like
You're talking about the 6-axis?
not entirely.
What are you talking about? With the controller?
Yeah, they might just do something stupid like
The
that.
motion controls and stuff.
Yeah.
Like the thing you mandatory.
Because Sony has their thing called the 6-axis that they dropped in the PS3.
Yeah, that.
Was it like the sensor, right? Oh, that's kind of like...
Where you rotate the controller and the Vita.
They still have it on the controllers, right?
No.
For PS4?
I don't know. The only thing I can think of...
I've only seen that when they open up the keyboard and you can like move the controller to like select it. So
they might still have it. Yeah.
Because I know Bloodborne when you play it.
You have to do the motions.
Yeah, to do like the gestures. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to like hold the touchpad, right? Like the right hand side, and then do the gesture.
Well, like
I don't have any of those gestures.
Really? That's how it works. You have to legitly do the gestures and shit.
No, not like that. No.
No, it's like it shows like like in God of War with the original God of War games with the QTEs and like you see the icon to swerve the R stick. It's like that with the whole controller.
You know what his name is? Childish Dad Bino.
Great. The scarcity of like normal people in this game is crazy. It's just nothing but demons and.
I know, because they were talking about how everything was so busy, so lively, so populated.
Well, I think Corey Barlog mentioned that this was during the pre-migration when everybody was leaving. So that plays part into it. That's why you only see humans once in the game.
When?
Well, when Atreus kills... No, when Atreus kills a human for the first time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the original Reaver. They're called Reavers.
But they weren't Reavers at the time. They were humans.
They were human. Then.
No,
Reavers
are bandits, and then
they turn into Reavers when they die. But they're human.
Right. Okay, but if you replay that part, he calls them Reavers. They're humans. The humans are referred to as.
No, but
they're just like a bandit group, and then the Reavers themselves, the other Reavers, the Frost Reavers,
the same
are the
instance
dead
with
ones.
the son.
Normal Reavers that you fight in Midgard, those are
normal Reavers don't go through and search for treasure and
no, like there's
like that.
If you go to the character bios for monsters and you read the one for Reaver, it talks about how when humans die, they are brought back to life as Reavers. That doesn't mean they are already Reavers.
I'm just saying you have to.
That's the same thing with Draugrs.
That cutscene specifically, while they're still human, he calls them Reavers.
I don't know. Well, then why was he surprised? Why were they surprised that they came back if they were Reavers? Because they would come back anyways.
I don't think they were. I don't know. I'm just reiterating to you what I heard from that part because that's what I remember. He walks in there and then he sees them and then they start talking about.
Well, then why is Atreus freaking out though? Because he just killed a human, and they're just brought back to life because they fucked up.
Yeah, because they didn't destroy.
Surrender.
So back to gameplay. Oh my god. The fucking, the specials for the chains.
The runic attacks are great.
The runic attacks are so throwback, dude.
It's great. It has the standard combo that you get. I
was so glad they brought the heavy triangle from the 3,
I
dude.
really fucking love the whole idea of permafrost and
the heavy runic.
What was the blades? Immolation, yeah.
Immolation, yeah. Oh,
I really like the
passive
weapon effects.
Fucking build up your combo and start doing fucking fire and ice damage.
Elemental effects,
basically. The only one that they were missing was shock. Atreus basically had that covered.
Oh no, there's shock. You can do shock damage with the axe.
With which runic?
It's not a runic, it's a pommel. It's when you're doing combos, it adds shock damage to your attacks.
For what, your axe?
For your axe, yeah. It's called the Fist of Thor or something.
I think it can be paired with the arrows, the shock arrows.
Did you see that secret one?
For
for combos, maybe.
Yeah, connect all the people together.
There's a secret pummel that you get for the axe, or where you use your L1 X to activate, and you like release like these 2 little red balls, and like the whole screen kind of like turns black.
I don't think I have that one.
No, everybody gets it during the game. I forgot what it's called, but like the description is like it's like a fraction of something.
With the blades?
No, not with the blades, with the axe. Like, I forgot what the thing is called, but I remember the description said it was a fraction of something, and that there were more of them.
Yeah. I thought it was dumb. I realized it the other day.
I think it's the thing that you get from Helheim, because I think you get it when you go to Helheim.
I realized it the other day, because I remember that I never read the articles, but the titles kept saying, like, check out this Infinity War Easter egg in God of War, and I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Why do we care?
And I realized it later when I saw Jay's gameplay, his talisman that he has, it's a gauntlet that shoots energy out like Thanos does with the Power Stone, and I'm like, that's dope. Come on.
I had to rewatch that fight.
I feel like
It's when he fights the queen.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see him like his arm extends forward and it shoots out an energy blast.
Fucking good.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about the game is that there's a lot of backtracking. Like
as far as
like
what though?
everything. Like you have to come back to this area later because you have this, or you have to come back to this area later because you don't have
That's
this.
true. The first time you go up the mountain, because you couldn't go up there because you didn't have it.
Oh, you have to come back down. Yeah.
Like literally everything about an area is like, okay, so you see this now, come back later when you have this thing from this temple. Like, okay, Zelda.
Oh yeah,
like,
for the story that it does happen quite.
Even leaving
I
Alfheim
need
was
this
kind of a
item
bitch.
for this dungeon to do
Alfheim,
this thing.
yeah.
I think honestly though, the only thing that you don't have to redo is going back home. That's like you do your thing at home once.
You can't go home. You can't go back home for a good while in the game until you unlock or until you get there for the blades. Mm-hmm. That's the only time you can go back, and then that's when you unlock the hell shit. So you could fast travel in between shortcuts instead of just going back to your
Well,
temple.
at first you still can't do it everywhere. You can only do it like basically on the bridge, at Brock's.
Well, it was only towards shops. That was the thing. But now it's like you can go to anywhere once you get the blades. Yep. Armor sets look freaking nice in that game too. And photo mode is out. I play with photo mode a lot in that game.
I like photo mode.
I like it too. I wish there was a little more with it.
I'm still trying to catch Kratos slipping. That's all I want. I just want to get one bad picture.
I got pointed out on Twitter. There's an easy access mode where you, instead of pausing and going to it, you just click left on the touchpad, and then it'll automatically go into photo mode.
I've accidentally done it before.
Yeah, so it's pretty good stuff. I did not play with the classic controllers because by the time I figured it out, I was already used to the new ones.
Yeah,
I did classic
mode. I switched mine. I did the new ones and then switched it.
For the classic?
Yeah, very recommended that you go back. Especially if you can just give me God of War, you want to have those buttons on deck, dude.
I don't know, like when I was tweaking with it, I was like, it feels like God of War, but it didn't feel right for the new combat system, and I was like,
Well, with the axe, it doesn't feel.
The axe doesn't feel as right as it does, yeah.
Yeah.
But with the blades, probably.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Anything else, guys?
Go play God of War.
Yeah.
The soundtrack is so amazing.
Dude, yes.
I cannot stop listening to that fucking
I have the soundtrack.
It's a beautiful soundtrack.
It's beautiful. And, like, it's not the original composer of the old series. But this guy is a fan of the God of War series.
But rock. And
this music just, when I hear it, I'm like, that sounds like God of War.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
I could listen to that shit all day.
Male orchestra.
What a great game, Danny! I've been telling myself, watching Pepe play it.
What's everyone's numerical score out of 10?
I'd probably give it like a 8.5.
Okay.
You got Melee?
It's Melee is shit in Overwatch.
Yeah.
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. What about you, babe?
Oh, definitely 9 out of 10. Well, I'm gonna go 9 out of 10.
What about you, Akiel? Numerical score for God of War. Out of 10.
Out of 10, I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10.
8.5.
What about you, Grant?
Hope you didn't play God of War.
I'll let you borrow it, Grant, when I'm done with the plats.
Or, like, from what you see. From what you have been listening to
What I recommend for playing the game is play a good chunk of story and then do a bunch of side stuff.
Listening to what we said today.
When you get to Midgard, when you get to the Lake of Nines, then do some side quests.
I'd rather start from the beginning. If I want to get into a new series, I'd rather start from the beginning. That's how I started with The Witcher. I played it on Brendan's laptop, because that's a PC only game.
If I could let you borrow the God of War saga I have.
Great.
It has all the games.
You would need Mikey's PS3 because that's what the HD remasters are.
Yeah.
I have mine. I have my PS3.
Oh yeah.
I have the God of War saga.
Alrighty.
And I have Ascension that and I still need.
You don't need to play Ascension though.
Yeah.
I still need to beat Ascension.
Yep.
I would have to go with 8.5 as well. I feel like they had a lot of things to improve on, but
it's for me the game is solid as far as the direction of story and gameplay mechanics, but just decisions that happen in the game is what brings it down for me. And it's mainly just, like, honestly, like, when you fight Baldur in the end, it's really cool. It's a really great boss fight. It feels like the beginning. But then just having Freya stop, it feels so much like Gaia stopping you fighting Zeus in 3.
Oh, man, I remember that.
You know, it was, like, honestly, like, I was watching something on YouTube and like, don't watch God of War videos on YouTube because the next fucking thumbnail is so spoilery. Because I saw it, it's this final boss fight HD thing, and I looked, and it was Thormir's corpse, and I was like, oh god, if the boss fight's a giant like that, I'm gonna be pissed. And in a sense, it was like that, so I'm a little pissed, but.
Again, like, I think the lesson of this one is history repeats itself.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the God of War 2 similarities come from, and.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Great game, overall.
Boy.
Please play it,
boy. Oh yeah, and plus the memes coming out of God of War
are
amazing.
I'm gonna show you one right now, Danny. I just showed this to Grant. I'm gonna show you.
I am constantly looking up God of War
Judge
memes.
with that dad jokes video.
Oh, boy. That's a good one.
You know where that's from?
Yeah.
For the
template?
The Zelda Philips CDI game?
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh yeah, the Christopher Judge was at a con and he did, they asked him to read dad jokes. It was great.
I still like the Spanish
this
one.
one is my all-time favorite.
That's another comic. I didn't even see that.
So thanks guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember, you can email us if you have any questions or comments at unversedpodcast@gmail.com. And look out for that other God of War episode that me and the boy Connor are going to do.
God, I need a drink.
Yeah, I need a drink too. Yeah. Boy.
I need to hit them great. That's boy.